Okay guys, come back at you here with another video this morning. Saturday, I uploaded those other two videos. I had a lot to say about the selection and the people on the left that are trying to take over the country surreptitiously and openly in some cases. That all needs to be dealt with. It ain't over. That stuff is not over. It ain't over just because we got somebody new in the Oval Office. You know, that badminton, tennis, ping pong thing that always happens. You know, you get one person in office, bad things happen. You get another person in office, they basically try to neutralize the bad things this other person did, and they try to do good things, and they usually end up getting kicked down because the bad people have a majority. You know, we have got to stop that. You know, I'm an old guy now, and the thing is that for decades I have seen this stupidity go on over and over and over and over. These people playing ping pong with our rights and so on, and you know, assault weapon bans and all that nonsense. You know what? The U.S. people, you should have anything you want. No stipulations. Anything you want. So that's how it was in the beginning. They had Gatling guns back in the old days before all these gun controlled acts and stuff that are all illegal, by the way. All these gun control acts and amendments to acts and all that stuff is all constitutionally illegal. That they just make stuff up and then they enforce it because they have the numbers to do so. They can gang up on one guy at his house. Okay, we need to stop all that. We need to get rid of all these alphabet agencies, and all that stuff has to go. And we need to redo the government. The federal government has to be abolished the way it is, and we need to restructure and do something else. We cannot continue this way. Just because somebody got in office and we have a little bit of breathing space right now because we got the commies off of our back for the moment, doesn't mean it's over, and doesn't mean we need to stop looking at it or stop being prepared about things. We need to continue forward and abolish all of that stuff and get people in jail that need to be in jail, and hold Trump accountable to what he needs to do, because he works for the people. He doesn't work for, he doesn't work for Congress. He doesn't work for the Senate. He doesn't, the House or the Senate. He works for us, and they work for us. And the problem is voting doesn't work anymore. They ignore us, and they constantly are doing backdoor deals to make themselves billionaires at our expense. And we're letting them get away. We've been letting them get away with it for 100 years. We need to get rid of the Federal Reserve. We get rid of the Federal Reserve, go back to the gold and silver standard, find out where our gold is, and we need to cancel that fraudulent debt that the Federal Reserve has been putting on the people of the U.S. because Federal Reserve is not a U.S. entity. It's not part of the federal government. We need to get rid of it. Ron Paul wanted to get rid of the Federal Reserve. Everybody thought he was a kook. You know what? I campaigned for Ron Paul. The guy has his head on his shoulders. The guy was like, I want a flat tax, like zero. I was like, yeah, exactly, man. That's what we need. Flat tax, zero. People will say, well, how do you get roads and bridges built? Well, you have to have a tax system to where it's a voluntary system and not a forced system, okay? Forced taxes are the same thing as the mob extorting money from you or some street gang extorting money from you. It's the same thing. Just the government says taxes and that they have the right to do it because they're the government. Okay? We need to get rid of that crap. They don't have the right to extort people. They don't have the right to extort me for property taxes. My property. I bought it. I don't care about all your 200-year, legalese that you might dig out of some book somewhere as to why, I have to pay property taxes. I mean, show it to me, because nobody could seem to show me where it says that we voted to pay property taxes. Show me the document where everybody voted in this country to pay property taxes. You show me the document. The federal government says that they don't charge property taxes. The state government says we don't charge you property taxes. Well, guess what? The county charges you property taxes. And they will admit that they charge you property taxes. And if you don't pay them, they say, well, we'll put a lien on your property. Well, what gives you the authority to put a lien on my property if it's my property? It's private property. The word private means for the exclusive use of. I bought and paid for it. It's mine. I have the deed. So, now what? We came here to get away. We fought a war over a tax on tea. But nobody wants to fight a war over them stealing money out of our pockets for our property. Got all these old people around here. I'm talking old. I'm old, but these people are old. They had to sell their house and their property that they had bought 50, 60 years ago, and it's paid for. They worked all their lives for their homes so that they could have a place to live in their old age, and then they had to sell it because they couldn't afford to pay the property taxes anymore. That is criminal. Criminal. And then you got people that had done well for themselves and they had a lot of land and a house and so forth. And they end up having to sell a bit of land off here and sell a bit of land out there and sell a bit of land off there, here and there and everywhere, just to pay the taxes. Why? Why are we paying property tax? Show me some documentation where somebody voted to be extorted. Show me. I'll bet they can't. Tell you what, push comes to shove, if I ever get to the point where I cannot pay property tax because of some governmental crap going on, World War III will happen right here, baby. It will happen. It'll start right here at my house. World War III will start right here. Yep. You don't think that I can't handle a small army by myself? I'm very cunning. I will take care of business. You can better darn well guarantee that things will happen if they come against me, because they will wish that they did not do that. We need to get rid of property tax. Well, how are the roads and bridges going to get built? How are we going to have a fire department? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I talked about this once before, and I never got really into the specifics of it because it's a very detailed thing. You would have to take notes on it, because a lot of people have not been shown this, so therefore their head can't wrap around it at first. But once you get it, then you'll be like, yeah, man, why the heck are we paying this property tax? It's to enslave people. That's what it's for. So when people have to sell off their property because they can't afford to pay the taxes on it anymore, and they go into the, assisted living or into the community center where they sign off the rest of their life in order to have a place to lay their head at night, which is ridiculous, okay? I've seen many people have to go through that around here, old people. And I feel bad for them because if they never had to pay property tax, they would still be enjoying their home. Some old lady, 85, 90 years old, be waking up in the morning, making herself a pot of tea, getting a brew on, throwing some honey in there, sitting on her back porch listening to the birds. Instead, what we have is we have a governmental agency saying, you better pay me or I'm taking your house. What is that? I want you people to start questioning things like this. Start thinking about things like this and start thinking about how we as a people are going to correct this situation, because this has been wrong for years and years and years and years. Okay, it's been wrong for more than 100 years. George Washington owned 60,000 acres of land in what made up part of, I believe, West Virginia today. Okay, he owned 60,000 acres of land, and he never paid a dime in property tax. Because there ain't no king no more in those days. Because we told the king where to go. Now we got 500 plus kings and queens who think that they're telling us what to do. And not to mention all the little kings and queens underneath them in the state and local governments telling us what to do. We need to stop all this nonsense. This is the reason why everybody's in the poorhouse. It's because they are nickel and diming everybody to death. They are trying to make us poor through taxes. Taxes that they're not even revealing at the pump when you go to put the fuel in your truck or your car. Right? Income tax. That's another scam. Started back 1913, Jekyll Island. Look it up. It's these bankers. Oh yeah, let's get form up this Eternal Revenue Service. Another thing that needs to be abolished. I'm going to tell you something that you're going to laugh. But I have extended family members just like everybody else. They're not immediately related to me, but they are related to me through family. And they are tax professionals. Some of them are international finance tax professionals. They are accounting and tax professionals that could deal with Swiss banks and other banks and all kinds of international banking. I have extended family that are into that stuff. And running out of time here again. I already lost my train of thought because it's how I easily lose my train of thought nowadays. But yeah, I don't know where I was going to go with that. Man, it's hell to get old, they say, but it's true. I remember when I was younger, I met a guy, he was with the walker, and I asked him how he was, and he was like, 85, 90 years old. He said, golden years, my ass, and I'm starting to kind of relate. Well, this video is over for now. I think I'm done with my ranting and raving, but the tax thing, you could stop with the property taxes and the income taxes, and you could tax things that you don't necessarily need, but you want, right? Those taxes can go towards your roads and bridges. That's it in a nutshell. But we'll get more in depth into that later. I'm going to come back at you with another video. We're going to change subjects here. A little bit more on the light-hearted side. I'll see you there.